Hello, students. Hope you're all doing well. We'll be doing a three-part lecture series on the philosophy of science. I've decided to make three of them because who wants to watch a long YouTube video? Nobody. I want to keep them short, and the YouTube lectures will be focused on the question, what is science? So, let's begin. When I say the word science, to what do I refer? When I say science, usually people mean something like this. Science is the mass of certain knowledge that scientists have gathered about the material world. Science has allowed us to make progress. Science is a powerful way of investigating the world and finding out about it. Science has given us new technology. It has done powerful things. Science has put a man on the moon. We've been able to split the atom because of science. We've been able to make great energy and great destructive things with science. Science seems to have a special place among disciplines of knowledge. It seems to have an elevated one. In this lecture series, I want to investigate what we think science is, and I want to try and figure out how science is different, if it is different, from other disciplines of knowledge such as history, philosophy, and literature. This is what we are going to do over the next three lectures. First, I want to focus closely on the word science. I'll focus closely on the word and on its etymology so we can try and get a better understanding of what we mean when we use the word science. Next, we will take a trip into the realm of epistemology. Epistemology is a field of study where people try and figure out exactly how we know the things we know. It's like knowledge on knowledge. From there, we will try to apply the lessons of epistemology to science itself and try to figure out from the perspective of epistemology how science is different from other disciplines, from what we can call non-science. This is the plan over the next three lectures. And I have a thesis. I have a thesis that I will try to be arguing to you. My conclusion my argument is this: that science is not different from other fields of knowledge because of what scientists do. That is, science is not different in method. Science instead is different in its object of study. Science studies the material world. Other disciplines study the past or study literature or things besides the material world, and thus are different in object and not in method. That is my thesis. Now, before we get rolling into the word science, to investigating the word, let's discuss a few terms. I've already used these terms, but I want to make sure you understand them before we move on. The first term is epistemology. Epistemology. Epistemology is the study of how you know what you know. The study of how you know what you know. So if you say if you walk up to your brother and say, "I know that it is snowing outside," your brother could ask you, "How do you know?" He is asking an epistemological question. How do you know? And you say, well, I know because I saw it. I looked outside and it was snowing. You've answered. You've given him an epistemological answer. Or that's not the only way you could know it. Maybe you heard on the radio that it is snowing outside. So in essence, someone told you through the radio, it's snowing outside. You could tell your brother, it's snowing outside. He would ask you, how do you know? Asking an epistemological question. And you would tell him, well, someone told me. So there's different kinds. That's an example of an epistemological discussion. The next word is etymology. Etymology is the study of words, that is, their roots and histories. I'm about to erase this, so if you want to pause it to write this down, that would be fine. And the final term that I want you to know is not so much a term, but it is the name of a specific specific philosophical problem, and the problem is called the demarcation problem. The demarcation problem is this question: how is science different from other disciplines? Question mark. The demarcation problem is this question, and it is trying to be scientists and especially philosophers of science are trying to answer this problem, to figure out what it is that separates science from other pursuits of thought. People are pretty sure that it is different because it's just so awesome. It gives us so much progress, so much. It seems so useful, and so people believe that it is indeed different. The question is, how is it different? How is science different from other disciplines? This series of lectures will be an attempt to answer the demarcation problem, to solve the demarcation problem. All right, so let's launch into different ways that we use this word, science. Now, first of all, I think that there is the capital S use of the word science. The capital S use of the word science is what I used at the beginning of the lecture. I had all these sorts of grand statements about science. Science does this, science does that. It has put a man on the moon. It's allowed us to build the internal combustion engine, and we've discovered the chemical properties of Venus. This is capital S science. It is the institution and joint effort of scientists. And it is the employment of what we believe to be, or what we call the scientific method. When someone says, science has shown that, and they start talking, they're talking about this capital S science, science proper. But there's another way, a more casual way that we use the word. We can just call that small s science, little science. Little science we use maybe something like this. Someone is really good at making a hamburger. Let's say you're watching the person and he you see him perform it, put the hamburger together really well, and it's delicious, and you're very impressed. You say, "My, you've got making a hamburger down to a science." Um, or maybe you see a chess player who's really good. You might say something like, "This chess player knows chess down to a science." This use of the word is more casual, and all we mean is that that science is some sort of ordered knowledge. Now, let's look at the etymology of the word science to see which of these it lines up best with. This is pretty simple. The word science is from the Latin word scire. This is its infinitive form. Its root would be ski, or to add the first person on it is skio, which simply means I know. Scire means to know something. That's pretty general, isn't it? There's nothing in the word that is pointed towards the material world, towards the mechanisms of nature, all the things that go along with capital S science. Science simply means having to do with knowledge. Now, since science is about knowledge, it makes sense for us to pursue some epistemology. Again, epistemology is the study of how you know what you know. And this is what we will look into at our next lecture about the philosophy of science. From there, we will see exactly how science compares to other disciplines. Thanks for your time, and have a good weekend. I will see you. I'll see you later. Bye bye.